Hello, Planeswalkers! Andrew here, joined by Tyler. Our next stop through our favorite two-color commanders is Azorius. Now, these are our personal favorites, so be sure to tell us your favorite white-blue commanders in the comments below. Now, let's jump into the list. Nyambi, Esteemed Speaker, comes up on my number 5 slot. Nyambi has Flash and lets you bounce another creature you control to its owner's hand, and she gains you life equal to its CMC, or mana value, according to Strixhaven. She can also be paid into and tapped to have you discard a legendary card and then draw 2 cards. So Nyambi is a blink commander, it's safe to say, with some legendary support built in as well. Abusing ETB effects is one of my favorite things to do in the game, from winning with Impact Tremors or Golos or Elementals, which brings me to my problem with the color combo. I just don't see a lot of potential in white-blue. I feel like a blink commander really misses out from other colors. Even Rune of the Forgotten Realms has access to green mana, and Yarok ditches white in favor of green and black. It just feels bad to be so restricted with an ETB commander. That said, you can also just run her as a Legendary Matters commander, but I don't feel she's quite as good as our number 3 pick at that.
My number 5 spot started as a joke, but the more I brewed with her, the more she grew on me, and it's Aisha Tanaka! A 2/2 human artificer, she comes equipped with the little understood banding mechanic. So littly understood that I'm not even going to explain how it works, because I don't think anyone on this planet can. But she also comes with the ability to tap to counter an artifact's activated ability unless the controller of said artifact pays a white mana. Yeah, she's she's weird. However, I like weird. Despite its much maligned status as an incredibly confusing ability, banding is, unironically, my favorite mechanic in the entire game, and I have always wanted to brew a commander deck around it. However, I've never had any backup plan to help the deck win, so the idea was shelved. That was until it was made clear to me just how many ways there are to turn your opponent's things into artifacts, thus making Aisha's ability much, much better. The end result was a control deck that hides behind being a banding deck, and it's everything that I have ever wanted. At number 4, I have my obligatory Tyler Loves Dragons, so let's include a dragon. And that honor goes to Ojitai, Soul of Winter. Depicting Ojitai in his younger days before ascending to Elder Dragon status, and when he relied more on his brethren to help him in combat, the Soul of Winter basically turns all of your attacking dragons into Frost Lynxes, tapping opposing creatures down and keeping them tapped down during the next untap step of their controller. For the longest time, I never actually thought too much of this kind of ability, mostly because I'm not generally a monster who plays hard control, but as I started to find the inner monster that lived within my heart, I realized just how powerful this can be. Plus, hey, I get to play more dragons. That is always a plus.
At number 4, I have Vega the Watcher. You'll find that owls are some of my favorite creatures, especially legendary owls. You'll see that in one of my future deck texts from Strixhaven. Now, I don't think I'll be building Vega just because of the fact that I'm already going to have an owl commander, but it's definitely a point in their favor. Vega draws you a card when you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand. This works great with Adventure and the ability that comes from their own set, Foretell, as well as Suspend and Flashback, among other abilities. This gives the deck a ton of versatility in its build, and it has a lot of room for the deck builder's personality to shine through. The only issue I take with Vega is that it's only in white-blue once again. I feel like they could have really benefited from some red, which would enable the deck to run a lot of impulse drawing that red so loves, letting you cast things from exile. But I guess it's less consistent than abilities that I listed before, so maybe it's not that big of a loss, but eh. My third commander on this list is Wrath Capuchin, Ship's Mage. Not only do I love this card's art and the callback to one of Magic's original stories, but I also enjoy Wrath's abilities. He himself has Flash and Flying, for whatever reason. Maybe it's because he's on the Weatherlight, which flies, or he can fly just because he's a wizard. He also has a passive ability that allows you to cast historic spells as though they had Flash. As far as Legendary Matters commanders go, Wrath is a pretty fun choice. While Arvad the Cursed grants an Anthem effect to your legendary creatures, Wrath just straight up lets you cast all artifacts, sagas, and legendary spells at instant speed. If you build the deck right, it's like having Vidalcan Ori in the command zone. You can build it as a legendary creatures deck, an artifact deck, a mixed historic deck, or a sagas deck. Don't do that last one.
If Ojutai was my obligatory dragon, then my number 3 is my obligatory tribe. Even if Ojutai is also a tribal leader, but hey, come on, this is my list and I need to pad it out somehow. I don't really play blue-white, so let me have this, please. And that's Sig, River Guide. Merfolk really came to the forefront of my mind when we visited Ixalan, but despite those merfolk being green-blue, I wanted to see what white had to offer, which led me to Sig and pivoted me away from Civic. Being as old as the tribe is, merfolk offer so many fun ways to play, from swarming to control to even boggles with the hexproof tokens that the Ixalan merfolk can make. And Sig comes equipped with a powerful ability to help keep your big playmakers alive. Hey, remember when I said I wasn't a complete monster? My number 2, Lavinia, Azorius Renegade, is here strictly because of her interaction with the card Knowledge Pool, and that alone is enough for me to have a spot reserved in the deepest recesses of hell. See, Lavinia says that, should an opponent attempt to cast a spell without paying any mana, that spell is countered. And Knowledge Pool first creates a pool of cards from everyone's top 3, then counters any spell any player tries to cast. But here's the fun bit though. Any spell countered by Knowledge Pool gets added to the cards it initially exiled. Then, the person attempting to cast the original countered spell gets to pick something else that is already in the pool and cast it for free. Free. As in no mana. Do you see where this is going? With Lavinia and Knowledge Pool out, your opponents just flat out don't get to play spells anymore. Because anything they cast is either going to be countered by Lavinia, or is going to be countered by the Knowledge Pool. It's evil. I won a game with it once. They don't play with me anymore.
Why so slow? Why so slow? Hurry up. You never know what you'll find. At number 2, we have Quain, Itinerant Meddler. The titular hare from the Tortoise and the Hare, and the tortoise being Archelos, Lagoon Mystic, Quain is a group hug commander through and through. He can be tapped to allow each player to draw a card, and then each player who did so gains a life. If that wasn't a May effect, I would consider building Quain Mill and build it to force my opponents to draw from an empty library. As it stands, this is just a decent effect for a group hug deck. Maybe not necessarily as the commander, but you could certainly use him that way. Also, I know it's not specified which plane he's from, but I feel like he and Archelos have to be from Eldraine, right? Tortoise and the Hare? Alternatively, Quain is the White Rabbit from Alice in Wonderland? Seems too perfect to not be from Eldraine. At number 1, I have Flying Travel, also known as Kangi Sky Warden. Kangi has flying and vigilance, and when he attacks, all your attacking flyers get +2/+0 for the turn, and when he blocks, all your flyers get +0/+2. I love birds, and Kangi is a very big bird who buffs all your flyers, which should also be burbs because I said so. I love this kind of mechanic that requires your commander to swing in with your army to get the boost. Slightly related, gives me a similar vibe to Miri, Weatherlight Duelist, because of his 2 different effects that happen when he attacks or blocks. It encourages an aggressive strategy that also requires some strategy both in deck building to figure out the kind of mana curves you need and whether or not to run flyers with vigilance, as well as in piloting, with making the decision to attack with everything or to hold some or everything back for a force of boosted defenders. Regardless, this commander is tons of fun and I love him.
Okay. So we've hit my obligatory dragon and my obligatory tribe. And since there's only one spot left, that must mean it's time for me to lie directly to your face and shatter everything that you know and hold dear. And that's with Shabraz, the Sky Shark. How is this a lie, you might ask? How did you get into my house, I respond. Similar to our white countdown where I chose Sylvia Brightspear on a technicality, I'm choosing Sabraz on the exact same grounds, because technically correct is still the best kind of correct. Yes, the shark is in the Azorius color pair, but thanks to the Partners With mechanic and the existence of Braylin's Sky Shark Rider, Shabraz is never pure Azorius and is instead Jeskai. That being said, I love sharks, and the introduction of sharks as an official magic type as well as the introduction of our first legendary shark, couldn't go amiss. I just wish that the shark support came on Shabraz rather than Braylon, but it's whatever. Shabraz's ability to grow larger and larger as you draw cards can make them a hefty threat all on their own.
Thank you all so much for watching. Once again, please let us know what your favorite Azorius commanders are in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and consider subscribing. Have a great day, y'all.